There's so much to think about when it comes to 205 Live, and that's why I developed these stances. Simple as that. 205 Live matters, so join in the conversation. Let us know your thoughts. Feel free to submit a topic. And with that, enjoy the video. Let's go ahead and talk about some simple stances. So, let's start and think about, since we're in WrestleMania season, let's talk about WrestleMania. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Fuck the SNL guys. Braun Strowman, what the fuck happened to you? I feel like maybe the Cruiserweights could be involved here. Showcase some of their little bit of offense. Kind of like how NXT, they had their spot in the Women's Battle Royal last year. And they had their moment where, we are NXT. Now, I don't think we're going to get that with the 205 Live guys. But I'd be interested to see like a certain face-off, though. So, considering the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal could be like, what, 30 people, potentially, like a freaking Honor Rumble on G1 Supercard, which more likely is going to be 10 times better. If you were to pick 5 Cruiserweights from the 205 Live roster in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, who would they be?
Kalisto, Drew Gulak. If they don't do the match that I had said earlier, I would put Cedric Alexander in there. I put I'm about to go brain dead on his name. I put Oni in there. I put Oni in there just because they could, if they don't do that match at WrestleMania, they could go ahead and build some tension, and during that match, maybe Lorcan eliminate Cedric and stuff like that, continue to build up that story. And then I would say I would put the Gentleman in there. That'd be my 5.
Oh, Jack Gallagher. Okay. So, considering that we already got the 2 for the title, the roster is less than 20 people. Let me see. Again, Drew Gulak, I believe, is a future Cruiserweight champion. But if you're not going to use him for that dynamic, yeah, let's put him in the Battle Royale and see if we can actually make something out of that trophy. Because I'm sure he looked up to Andre the Giant when he was a young W fan, like we all did, and probably still do. In my opinion, I think this Battle Royale right now is officially a joke, but I'm hoping the winner can bring some legitimacy. If we can get rid of the Braun Strowman SNL angle in the first 15 seconds, I'll be a little bit happier. Anyway, as far as my 5 for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, if I were to put 5 in there, let's see. Yeah, Drew Gulak's got to be number 1 for me. Could be biased. Akira Tozawa actually could be 1 for me. Hey, why not the Brian Kendrick, the most well-known name of the 205 Live roster? You want to get the biggest names on the card? Why not him? Let's see what happens there. Only look at Cedric Alexander, though. I feel like it's just like building so soon. I don't know if I would see either of them in there. You know what? Hell, maybe someone from the Lucha House Party. I'll go with Grand Metalik, because I did have different ones earlier, but I kind of changed my dynamic. And as far as my last one, hell, why not? Mike Kanellis. So those would be my 5. So I feel like that would add some interesting dynamics to the Battle Royale. You got some better-known names in there with D. Brian Kendrick and Mike Kanellis from his time in Impact and on the indie scene. And I feel like with his connection with Maria, he probably know more as well. So those are my thoughts on that. Now, as far as one of them winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, who the fuck cares? Because I know one thing for sure. It's not going to be somebody from 205 Live. And whoever wins it, the trophy is going to show up one night. They're going to talk about it 1 week, and then it's going to fade into obscurity, gathering dust. Mojo Rawley.
Yeah, but like I said, they could do something maybe different. Actually have somebody from 205 Live win. Like I said, maybe that would like have a Gulak win, because like I said, with his character, you could see him going, look, this is what I've done. I can do this. Now look what I've done. I've accomplished this. Now let me go after the Cruiserweight title, or let me show you how much better this show is, or how better we are, and stuff like that. I mean, it could be something interesting to do something different, surprise everybody. Have somebody from 205 Live wins. Nobody would really honestly predict that somebody from 205 Live winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Now that I think about it, Ariya Daivari, he could say bragging rights, I beat Cedric Alexander, I can go into this Battle Royal and win. So yeah, you kind of have a point there, because I feel like if you're going to have somebody win this trophy, it should be a huge bragging match. That's pretty much all it's used to. It should be a heel that wins in this case. I think I'm going to actually swap out the Lucha House Party member for Ariya Daivari and figure about him actually winning. You bring up an interesting point. With that, let's change our mindset. And I know last week we offered people our passion about 205 Live. There's a lot of ranting and a lot of venting on how they've been showcased and how they're looked at overall by WWE. let's talk about appreciation for not only 205 Live, but the competitors and the brand. Cindy, the lovely Cindy G. Thank you, Cindy, by the way. Go follow her, folks. NoDQ.com/Cindy. She shared these tweets and these posts with me from the lovely First Lady of 205 Live, Maria Kanellis. And Maria, she basically puts over the cruiserweights and how good they are and how hard they work and how she is proud to be part of this division and be proud with them. Let me bring up her official post here from Instagram. Maria Kanellis says the following, and I quote, 205 Live may not be the show you watch, but I am proud to be a part of it. Let's go to work and try and make a difference because 205 Live guys are incredibly talented. As tired as I am, and they are to be overlooked, I am also happy to be in the environment I'm the most comfortable in. So when they tell you you have low morale and just an indie performer, too small, too fat, too old, too blah, to find a way to find strength in the people around you fighting the same battle, be proud of having a dream even if others tell you you dream too big. F them. Keep fighting. Make 205 Live the show to watch. We make the show. I make the king. Don't figure it's going to hype up Mike Kanellis. Thank you to 205 Live. You guys truly are the most talented there are. Remember that. Hashtag 205 Live. And then she goes on further stating this. When someone tells you you should be on the main roster, W205 Live is main roster. Some of the most talented people I know are in 205 Live, NXT or otherwise. And it's not about corporate them. It's about me. If I have time and a mic, what can I do? How good am I? Man, if she did not sum up how I feel about Cruiserweight Wrestling and this brand since episode 1, even under the darkest days of the Vince McMahon assimilation and Enzo Reign, I'd be lying. I have thoughts, but I've been reading it, been thinking about it. I tweeted it for her. I follow her. I gave my response, and I passionately, truly thank Maria Kanellis for her overall passion and thoughts in 205 Live and her involvement in inclusion. Chris, your thoughts on not only your stance on 205 Live, but Maria Kanellis' as well.
I absolutely 100% agree with what she has to say about it. Like I said, 205 Live is a main brand show. Like I said, the cruiserweights, the 205 Live guys, they go out there every day just like everybody else on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, NXT UK, and go out there and bust their ass and give it 110% every time they go out there. They perform with the highest level of anybody. They are, like I said, 205 Live, like I said, the difference between any of the shows and 205 Live is the storytelling. People complain about there's not storytelling, there's not this. Damn, man, if you haven't watched the last few weeks of 205 Live, there's been some great storytelling and how progressions and storylines of what's to come and what's going on currently and what's to come. And that's the difference between that and Raw and SmackDown. Everybody complains about, oh, Raw is boring. Oh, SmackDown, this makes no sense. Why are we doing this? Okay, well, give 205 a chance. Watch this show. See the storytelling. See how the action plays out. See how the stories progress. And that's it. That's the thing.
Exactly. Folks, give it a chance. It's something different, I know. It's not big mainstream names. It's not according to business, not drawing in the biggest ratings or the most money. It's not about that. This is a passionate brand. It offers something different. It offers you incredible action and little stories within itself every week, developing over time that culminate into incredible matches, whether it's no DQ, NoDQ.com, whether it's six-man tag, whether it's tags, whether it's eliminations, the one contenders, multi-men, single men. It offers you amazing closures. And that's something that Raw and SmackDown Live doesn't necessarily always offer you. It's just thrown together, or it's just to give you this for a moment and then troll you. It actually matters here, and that's why I truly believe 205 Live matters, and I always will. So as long as I see this constant action, as long as I know at least one person believes in this, besides me, I can guarantee you all this. I will continue this series. And I will continue my passion and my following of 205 Live and watching it. Because I believe 205 Live matters. Amazing action. They bust their ass every day. Like you said, 110%. They give more than the main roster freaking does in a Raw and SmackDown Live combined when you consider that a lot of it is just squash or filler or jobber. There's not really even jobbers on this show. Everybody there is basically given the time and platform they need to truly show why they belong, why they matter, and why they're a good wrestler. Give it a chance. Go look at one YouTube clip. I challenge you. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, go look at one YouTube clip. Comment on it. Just look at what you see. Think about what you hear. And that's another thing. This commentary team, they actually are better fit. They work together. They don't pointlessly argue with themselves or plug stupid pointless crap or just, stammer over themselves. They talk about the action in the ring. They talk about the story being told. They talk about what both men offer based on the heel and face dynamic. And Vic Joseph, though he says takedown more times than you could probably drink a 12-pack in a day, he does, hey, I'm just being honest here. I'm sorry. He does try with play-by-play. Okay? And I will say this. He's better than Michael Cole on Raw.
Amen.
Yeah, okay? I'm asking you. Try it on YouTube once. Just once. A recent match YouTube clip from 205 Live. And then come back here and comment and let me know what you thought. Did it not show you enough? Do you still need to see more? Do I need to bring you more convincing? Go look at 205 Live's Twitter page. Not only look at Maria's post, look at the Inside Live stories that Jack Gallagher shares, that Drew shares. Everybody on 205 Live, they love what they do. This matters, and it should matter to you. Simple as that. Okay. So now that I got that out of the way, let's talk about the actual cruiserweights themselves and the execution. 205 Live Matters follower. Thank you, by the way, Harry Cullen on Armbar, ARNBAR, exclamation point. Go check out that page, folks, on Facebook, okay? You like wrestling? We'll add you. He basically brought this question up to me and what Jerry, the General Jerry Slaughter, he created called an improv forum. He basically asked me about how I feel about the aerial high-risk offense executed by the cruiserweight. And he feels whether or not, he asked me this question, does it matter more if it's probably executed or if it's sold well? Because sometimes an aerial offense, it can look sick, flashy, intense, and cool. Other times, though, it doesn't look well at all when they land, and yet somehow their opponent is trying to sell it. I basically think about that Hurricane Rana last week. That really didn't happen. He slipped off, and then the person flipped themselves, okay, to try and sell it, all right? When it comes to me, cruiserweight wrestling, you got to have appropriate chemistry. You got to have great timing. You got to have trust with each other. I don't look for a Kodak moment, okay? And by the way, Ricochet is definitely not that either. I look at what move am I supposed to believe is going to give the person the win or is the most effective. I look at how it's set up. I look at how long it takes to execute. I look at how it lands. I look at what it leads to. Is it the finish or does it lead to the finish? That's what I look at. Now, as far as 205 Live, those I think of a high aerial finisher, Akira Tozawa with his top rope senton bomb, Humberto Carrillo with the springboard moonsault. I'm trying to Leo Rush with his final hour split-legged frog splash. Lince Dorado with the shooting star press. There are a few on there that know how to execute a top rope maneuver, and it actually leads to a finish, which makes me believe this move actually matters. Chris, your thoughts on high-risk aerial offense maneuvers carried out by the Cruiserweight division?
Oh, see here. I like I said, that's what makes the show different is the higher offense, like I said, but also I kind of agree with how Jerry says this too. You got to have the selling too. If you do a high impact move, for example, like, okay, Tony Nese 450 splash, when he does that move, for example, you should expect him as a win with that move. And lately, like I said, I've seen it where he didn't win. He didn't win the finals with that move. He won it with the knee, for example.
Right.
Like I said, there's certain moves where you hit the moves, you're expecting, oh man, you hit this high impact move, you're expecting them to win that match. And then they kick out in the last minute. There are some times where it's like, okay, this should be the moment where this match should end, and it doesn't. Yes, it builds that drama and excitement too, but then there's sometimes you wish they would just win with that high impact move. But also, too, it's important when they're doing a high impact move that they do the selling too as well. Because if you hit like you hit a moonsault from the outside of the ring and you barely hit the guy and he has to sell and flop like you just murdered him, for example, I said it doesn't look good. So I can see it from both points of view. Yes, the high impact moves are incredible what they do, and they are, like I said, they are very talented athletes and wrestlers when they do that. But however, it also has to be like that perfect chemistry. They have to actually both work well together, and on top of that, it has to look good as they work together in the match and telling the story.
Absolutely. When I think about like top rope moves, for example, that set up to a finish, not necessarily a finish. Biggest example, Shawn Michaels. What's one of his aces in the hole? A top rope elbow drop. Does it lead to a finish? No. But it sets up to his finisher, Sweet Chin Music, which again is just a super kick. And usually that wins him a match. Eddie Guerrero, 5-star frog splash. He executes it. Rest in peace, by the way, Eddie. Viva la raza. Basically, when he executes that, you expect that to be the end of the match. Usually it was. Again, you look at it from both dynamics. Is it a Kodak moment, or is it literally a finisher, or is it building to the finisher? But bottom line, you got to make it look good if nothing else. But you can't just rely on a move to make you look good. You got to make sure the move also helps you in the long run in victories. Because in 205 Live, the victories actually do matter.
Exactly.
All right. Main event time. So going back to Maria Kanellis, the first lady of 205 Live, and thank you again, Maria, for your passion. I believe in you as well. Let's talk about the potential growth of 205 Live from a different dynamic. A women's division. Now, I was thinking about this when I think about other promotions that have women's division, not necessarily cruiserweights, but in general. And then there's other promotions that don't have a women's division, but have separate promotions with all women only, or their own women's division. The biggest example of this that I can think of is New Japan Pro Wrestling. There's always been talk about, New Japan Pro Wrestling, should they have a women's division? Some people are pros, some people are advocates of it, some people are against it. Kenny Omega himself said that he believes New Japan should have a women's division. But then again, it's a different type of culture there, okay? And they have their own independent promotions with Stardom and Shine, like Mayu Itami, who works in the women's division of Ring of Honor. Newly created women's division of Ring of Honor with the Women of Honor Championship, held by Mayu Itami, who will be facing off against Kelly Klein. When I think about women's division, I think about this. You got to make sure you have enough time, and you got to make sure you have enough talent. You also will be developing a new title. It would add more storylines. It would add more matches. It would add more depth to the roster. But again, you need to get on that time. I think about this with NXT. NXT, they do an hour, sometimes a little longer. And they have both a men's and women's division. But they are able to change out who they have every week, whether or not they're doing women's tag matches or no women at all, or just men or not men tag matches. If I were to build a women's division, I would start off like this. You first execute a tournament to crown your first ever women's cruiserweight champion. Now, the thing is, pretty much a lot of the women in WWE and beyond, they're under 205 pounds. So really, a lot of women could be in this division. The first few I can think of, if I was going to start a women's division in cruiserweight wrestling in 205 Live, Casey Catanzaro and Xia Brookside. Those would be my very first two. But you also want to add some dynamics there, not only from offense standpoint and ring style. You also want to add some dynamics when it comes to the weight balance. You want like a Juggernaut or like a Buddy Murphy. My strongest first example of that, Rhea Ripley. I think Rhea Ripley, Xia Brookside, Dakota Kai, Casey Catanzaro, even Bayley potentially if they lose like the Raw tag titles, for example. Because let's face it, a lot of people underlook Bayley. They look more at Sasha, and ever since this tag team thing, Bayley and Sasha now they get more appeal. But are these titles, do they really mean a lot? I don't know personally. I feel like they would mean more on the cons, but I'm just going off topic. But again, I feel like they can do what Ring of Honor did. Start a tournament and develop a women's division. Maybe that could be part of like the first ever cruiserweight special called like Elevate or something, which I still believe should happen. I want 205 Live to grow, and I'm personally pro for a women's division to develop in 205 Live. Chris, your thoughts on the development of a women's division in 205 Live, and who would you start off with?
Like I said, I brought this subject up to you a few days ago, and I was thinking it might be a little interesting. Like I said, we have a women's division on Raw, and we have one on SmackDown. They talk about this women's evolution. Okay, we've done almost everything. Well, you haven't never had, in my memory, my history, ever had a women's cruiserweight champion. That's something that's different. It gives more appeal. I believe, to me, it would give more appeal. It also gives the brand a different kind of a different look. You know, we're talking about what could we do differently with 205 Live. You know, let's try something with the women's cruiserweight division. Why not? Like I said, if it fails, it fails. But like I said, you don't know until you try. But I agree with you putting like somebody like Rhea Ripley in. I would agree with putting her in, but also somebody I'm thinking about off the top, like I said, if she's cleared, if she ever wrestles anytime soon, would be somebody like an Alexa Bliss because she would fit that kind of mold of a cruiserweight that way. I think she could perform very well on that. That'd be an interesting dynamic if her and Buddy Murphy were both on the same show. That'd be an interesting dynamic.
And both as champs. That's actually a very interesting idea. I like that a lot.
Like I said, I agree with doing something like maybe Bayley goes, like maybe her and Sasha have a split later on down the road. Like I said, Bayley goes and they do this tournament and she enters this first ever women's cruiserweight tournament. And then who else would? I mean, like I said, I could see Sasha Banks doing it too, just because of her size. I think she would be good in that division too. I'm trying to think of some other people. I agree with you on the other people you named earlier too. I agree with you on that. But like I said,
I mean, and by the way, Kacy Catanzaro is like the smallest woman athlete that I know of in wrestling. She's less than 100 pounds.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think of somebody too that be like right near the weight. Like I said, somebody like if you needed to have that one like veteran that's been doing it for a long time, you could put somebody like a Mickie James, for example, in the tournament or something and help build it up, put it some credibility in there too. She didn't have to win the thing, but you can put her in there.
It probably would be a nice refresh to her career too, because what's the last thing Mickie James has done? She's been off TV since.
I know. Ever since she, like I said, she was tagging with Alexa Bliss, and then she's just disappeared since Alexa's been injured again. But she's not injured, but she's injured somehow. So, you know.
I don't understand Ross spent all that time. That's why I watch 205 Live. Hashtag 205 matters. And by the way, think about this. Triple H, he overlooks all of this. You know, NXT UK, 205 Live, along with like Drake, Regal, Scala, and Saint. I feel like they all would be in agreement with this as well, because as you know, 205 Live works in conjunction sometimes with NXT UK and NXT, offering that deeper depth and dynamic, and also that unison kind of, and also the fact you're not locked down, you can flex. But I was also looking up some history here because, ladies and gentlemen, I grew up on WWF side in the 90s. I'm still learning WCW. WCW actually had a women's cruiserweight champion. Truth be told, it was only shortly lived for 1 year, but believe it or not, they did. They had a simple tournament themselves. Basically, it was a short-lived single women's professional wrestling tournament in WCW for smaller women, okay? Usually, back then, they said the limit was 130 pounds, which is insane in my opinion. And basically, they crowned their first champ, Mala Hosaka. Apologies if I'm butchering the name. And the title was in existence from April 7th, 1997 to April 3rd, 1998. So they can call back to that kind of history, too. So this wouldn't necessarily be a first in women's wrestling, obviously, but it would be a first for WWE. And I feel like Triple H would be the spearhead to make that happen, because let's think about it. What's the WCW thing that Triple H brought back recently? War Games. So that's just my thoughts on that. So, and like you said, it would be a first because WWE's all about, we're changing the game. We're the women, leading the women's evolution. We're making first. What sort of first would that be if you start a cruiserweight women's division? It would add a whole new dynamic. And probably all the people in catering would be a little more happy too, because you'd be utilizing them, okay? Do something different and use more of your roster. And you know what? Hell, I'm talking to the main roster too, because Vince McMahon, he's got his head so far up his ass. There's like 27, if not 30 plus people in catering like, why the hell am I here? Is it really worth this paycheck? Then again, I feel like Tyler Breeze, he's just so tired and burned out. He relegated himself to only main events, so there you go. I'm just saying.
But something I do like you brought up too, that I mean, you just taught me something new today because I didn't even realize they had a women's cruiserweight title in WCW, and I watched that when I was younger too, and never even thought about they had a women's cruiserweight title. I knew they had a brief period of a WCW women's title,
Right.
but I said that didn't last long. But I didn't realize they didn't have a WCW women's cruiserweight title, so I learned something new that you brought that up today.
Thank you, WWE Network. Yeah, I'm slowly going through WCW, looking at the worst, the best, and the surprising. Why the fuck did I look at a Viagra on a pole match?
I have
God.
no idea. Why are you looking up Viagra? Period.
Why was that at WCW? You explain that to me. Freaking Vince Russo? Was Vince Russo behind that?
Yes, he was.
Jesus. Anyway, okay. Well, that concludes tonight's episode. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us once again for 205 Live Matters. Chris, a pleasure, sir. Thank you so much for joining me. Not only discussing the show, but some simple stances. Anything you want to plug, and where can people find you?
All right, so you can find me on Facebook at Christopher Edward Mace. Like I said, support Noah's channel. I say he does a great job with these shows. He works hard on these shows every week. Like I said, Sport Aftermath Wrestling. Like I said, those guys there, they work their butts off just as well, working on their shows. Support both the channels. Definitely support NoEDQ.com. And like I said, I just want to bring more awareness to a five ladder matters. Like I said, I grew up when I was younger watching these cruiserweights and WCW and watching everything progress in the WWE. And like I said, my goal one day, I hope to see it here in 205 Live, that they have a cruiserweight title match as the main event. Because they have done it before back in the day, and people might forget this, but they did it back in the day, all I know for a fact, on SmackDown when Matt Hardy was Cruiserweight Champion defending against Rey Mysterio. So they have main event the show before as Cruiserweights. They could do it with that Cruiserweight title now currently, one day main event a pay-per-view.
I would love to see that. I would absolutely love to see that. Start your way up. Main event SmackDown Live, because I want more inclusion of the Cruiserweight SmackDown Live, because I feel like it would be a better fit for them. Then maybe main event at pay-per-view, and then the ultimate, the mecca, the ultimate goal and glory for me would be not only their own special show, but they main event at WrestleMania.
There you go.
That is my ultimate goal for 205 Live, because I believe it's that good and can build to something like that, because 205 Live matters. And folks, if you want to talk more with me about 205 Live or wrestling in general, I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of wrestling. And you can look me up at NoADQ.com/Noah. That takes you to my Twitter page. Or subscribe to my little channel right here on YouTube. Just look up Noah. Curse you, Vince! Took away my freaking name. Anyway. Cheers. I can't believe I caught with that joke. That went over his head. That was so damn funny.
That was funny. He went over.
Oh, by the way, go follow the Archangel James Hubert, his channel, and at HubertSide95. Good guy. Get some rest, brother. Anyway, follow the similar YouTube channel here, and like Chris said, also follow NoDQ.com. We are in WrestleMania season, folks. It is a busy week ahead. I will be shortly recording with the lovely Cindy G and the General Jerry Slaughter and the Wizard of NoDQ, Stephen Osborne, for NXT TakeOver New York. This gentleman right here, he'll be recording with the four horsewomen of NoDQ and horsemen.
Horsewomen, wow, really?
Damn, I'm sick.
Oh, boy. I don't think they ever like you called them women.
I got women on the mind now. This is what happens when I talk about women main eventing freaking shows and then women being on the Cruiserweight division. Botchamania! I'm sorry. I'm not perfect. Anyway, the four horsemen of NoDQ NXT, they'll be recording their predictions very soon on NXT TakeOver New York. We got a hell of a card ahead of us. Also, coming up shortly, stay tuned for NoDQ.com for the Ultimate Trivia Challenge, where the champ himself, Pierre Sensation, Greg Cherry, will take on the professor himself of the West Coast, Jeff Meacham. It's a 60-minute Ironman match. It's going to be freaking insane. Also,
Go Team Greg, though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're telling me. Also, stay tuned later this week. We'll be recording our G1 Supercard predictions here on Team NDQ. Me, Cindy, and Chris Cass, a Wrestling Trivia Challenge veteran, for Chris Cass's Team NDQ title. Coming for you, Chris. And also, I'll be recording, of course, WrestleMania predictions with, of course, Stephen and Jerry, going after Caitlin and Aaron's titles. Appreciate you both, but I'm coming after y'all's titles, too. I will have all the gold, or at least that's my goal, before the end of WrestleMania weekend. And also, I'll be doing my own little predictions for Impact United We Stand next week. So, yeah, folks, a lot of great wrestling content coming up. Support your local independent wrestling as well. Ton of indie shows coming next week. Support your local indie wrestling, folks. And as always, oh, yeah, buy a shirt, NoDQ.com/shirts. Go check out the list on Spotify, #NoDQ. And I close with this, because this defines me to a T. Support your wrestling outlets, both big and small, and let's keep growing this wrestling community together. Simple as that. With that, I need to prepare now for NXT TakeOver New York predictions, and I also need to prepare for next week. So again, Chris, thank you for joining me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Please give it a chance. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and tell your friends. And until the next video and the next 205 Live Matters, have a good night.
Have a good night, y'all.